the basic beliefs and practices of Hinduism. This video you have already seen, and by all means, please feel free to watch it again as you revisit this presentation. It goes over some of the shared cultural aspects, beliefs, and practices of Hindus in the world today. So there are over 1 billion Hindus in the world today. That makes Hinduism the world's third largest religion. The majority of that 1 billion followers is found in the subcontinent or on the Indian Peninsula as part of India's population. However, there are significant numbers that can be found in parts of Southeast Asia, in the United States, and in the Caribbean, parts of Africa, as well as Micronesia. So the big question is, how was Hinduism founded? Hinduism is unique in that there is not a singular person who created the faith. Out of the religions that we will study in this unit, this is the only one that does not have a singular founder. So Hinduism is actually the result of cultural diffusion. It is the result of when a group of people from Central Asia, known as the Aryans, actually migrate down into the Indian Peninsula. They share their ideas and beliefs with the people of the Indus River Valley, and the combination of those ideas is ultimately what we call Hinduism today. Hinduism is considered to be the world's oldest religion. It's at least 5,000 years old. And once again, was the result of the sharing of ideas between the Aryan migrating peoples who came down into the Indus River Valley and shared their ideas with the people of the river valley. So Hinduism can be seen as a polytheistic religion, polytheism meaning belief in many gods. Hindus believe that there is one overall force that keeps the world together, and that is known as Brahman. However, Brahman is so complex that he can be broken down into many gods. Right? Hindus believe that the world and all living things come from this idea of Brahman, but that Brahman can take on many forms, so there are many different gods with different characteristics that Hindus pray to. Some of the most important gods include the creator, destroyer, and preserver of life. So that would be Brahma, the creator, Shiva, the destroyer, and Vishnu, the preserver or protector. How do Hindus worship? So when we say worship, it's how one practices their faith. So Hindus read from holy books. One of those holy books is known as the Vedas. The Vedas is the oldest religious writing. It is written in Sanskrit. Hindus pray in two ways. They go to a temple or something known as a mandir to pray. They also tend to have a shrine in their home where they can say daily prayers and make offerings to the gods. The goal of Hinduism can be obtained through what we call yoga. Yoga is not a matter of just stretching, but can include versions of studying, meditations, and other services to the gods. What do Hindus believe? Hindus believe that the soul, or Atman, is eternal, and that when the body dies, it is reborn in another body. So the idea being that your soul may have multiple lives. You as a person have a beginning, middle, and end, but ultimately your soul will be reborn many times. This process of life, death, and rebirth is known as reincarnation. So there are a couple of things that impact your reincarnation. One of those things is known as karma, that every action that one takes has a consequence or a reaction. Hindus believe that their experiences that happen in this life are the results or consequences of past actions, and how they act today will impact their next life. So Hindus live life trying to fulfill what is known as their dharma, or duty of right action. Dharma depends on your varna. So it is believed that there are four varnas, or four different personality characteristics or qualities that ultimately make up a well-functioning society. And depending on which varna you are in, or you are more like, depends on what your dharma would be. So how this idea would work is basically, so if you were more inclined to be in the varna of the Brahmins, then your dharma, your right action or duty, would be to study and teach in order to better society. So Hindus believe that each individual is expected to fulfill their dharma to the best of his or her ability in order to make society a better place and ultimately reach a goal called moksha. This is when the soul stops in the cycle of reincarnation. So basically, the cycle of reincarnation stops, and the soul has reached eternal bliss and joins back into that overarching spirit that is made up of all living things, Brahman. So, as we did in class, we looked at and talked about examples and questions that we had based off of these pieces of art. And now I would like to take a minute to talk about basically Hinduism in Indian society. So, traditionally in Indian culture, people lived in communities that were based off of their occupation. These were called jati. Each jati had a set of rules and traditions that it practiced. Over time, specifically, it started during the Gupta dynasty. Um, the jati developed into a more rigid social structure known as the caste system. The caste system was something that ultimately utilized ideas of Hinduism to create a social hierarchy. It was not originally part of Hindu beliefs, but that idea of that we had studied in our last unit, the challenge of maintaining control, leaders, like the leaders of the Gupta, needed political and social control within their empire. And the ideas of the Hindu ideas of reincarnation, karma, and dharma were used as a way to keep political and social control, so that once one fell into a specific varna, these became a social hierarchy, some being seen as more important than others, and that impacted your dharma. And basically, you were expected to do your right actions within this lifetime and hope for to be reincarnated into a better life in your next life in your next life. So at this point, I'm going to stop the recording. If you have any additional questions about Hinduism, please do not hesitate